All right, welcome back to our tutorial on our SBA 2017-2018. The last time we met, we looked at the outline of the actual database in which we use our template to actually create our outline or our setup for our spreadsheet, right? So notice here in this new file, we um, suggested that students should combine all the files together. All right, so it will allow it to be a little easier. All right, if you had worked with different sheets, no problem. Later on, as I mentioned, we will um, bring all the files or all the sheets together to create one file. Now, notice here we have company name. All right, so we have company name. All right, and this we can go ahead and type in. We type the first name, the last name, a company name, and this package which we gather from here, the package which we have the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. That is where we actually got our packages from. And then we have our status. We're going to state if they are resident or non-resident, and we're going to include those as well. Right, so let us now move on to the actual questions. Question 1 asks us to insert a column and enter reservation date. So we are going to ensure that we select an appropriate column, and we're going to insert that reservation date. Now, in inserting the date, I'm going to ask you to ensure that you select also the correct data type. Right, again, I'm using Excel, so you can select your date, right, by selecting this drop down arrow, and then you're going to select your date, whether you want to use a short date or a long date. I am using the short date format, so ensure that you select your short date format. And it asks us to insert a column, and then we're going to enter the reservation date. Now the reservation date spans from the first of, or the promotional period rather, it spans from October the 1st, 24th, 2017. Let me just find the correct file. This is not the correct file. This is the correct file. Alright, so it spans from October the 1st, 2017 to October the 31st, 2017. And any reservation date made on or before September the 15th, 2017 would receive a discount. We call them early bird, and they'll get a discount of 15%. All right, so we'll look at that later. Right, so the dates that we're working with is for early bird on or before September the 15th. So I'm going to ask you that whenever you insert your date, I'm going to ask you to ensure that you add a number of early birds and then the regular reservation dates that it will facilitate those residents. All right, now notice here we have a package, but when we look here, there is a function that or a formula that we insert in order to get the package discount. How do we do that? Now I'm going to ask you to ensure that you have a label down here which calls the package and the discount. You have bronze, silver, gold, and platinum, early bird, and then you have the outline here, which is 2%, 3, 5, 10, and 50 respectively. And from that, you are going to use the VLOOKUP function. Now, if you are not familiar with the VLOOKUP, I'm going to ask you to ensure that you revisit that topic of VLOOKUP. So that is what you're going to use for this particular package discount. Now the duration of stay, you can go ahead and insert duration. It can be any number if you want 2 days, 7 days, but bear in mind that those from the same company ensure that they have the same duration of stay. Alright, so I don't want you, if you want to go ahead and use check in and check out, but make sure that you'll have to find a formula that will subtract the check out from the check in order to get the duration of stay. Or if you want to go ahead and just type in, I have no problem with that. You're not going to be penalized for just putting in your duration of stay. Now, the cost for, let me get back here. So question 2, the status of the guest is either resident or non-resident. The promotional rate for resident is Jamaican 15,500 and US $200 per night. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to have a notice at the bottom here. Again, we have a label where we have US exchange rate at $89, the resident at 15,500, and non-resident we're going to have at US $200. Now notice here we're actually formatting our currency with GMD. Now that is done by selecting again under your number tab, and you're going to go to currency, and you're going to select here where you have the symbol, and then you're going to type JM, and then you will find JM dollars, and then OK, and that will convert it likewise with the US dollars. All right, so that is for question 2. Now for question 3, determine the package discount for each package. All right, use a VLOOKUP or a if statement, and we mentioned that earlier that we are going to use the VLOOKUP here in order to get the data inside the package discount. Now you should be able to do the calculation for the cost. Now the cost is already given here. It asks us to calculate the cost if we're going to use an if function here. If individual status is resident, then the cost is resident times duration of stay. If individual status is non-resident, then the cost is non-resident rate times duration of stay times the exchange rate. All right, so let us see how that is done. So we're going to be multiplying the resident. We're going to make sure that we use the if function in order to generate those functions. And again, the early bird, which you can you're going to use in order to calculate the early bird, and the discount and the total as we go along.